The UK Labour government wants to introduce the right to switch off when outside work. The Prime Minister's office believes it's key to productivity and could boost economic growth. Should Gibraltar follow suit?
One side is maybe an employer demanding us to be available. The other side is we might actually want to work in that way. We might want the flexibility where we have the ability to work later in the evening because maybe in the afternoon we want to pick up kids.
When people don't switch off and when people do burn out, there are very, very deeply negative consequences for the person. It can affect your mental health, your physical health. It affects your family. And I think that just to say that this is something that I would ask all employers to take very, very seriously and to give their employees the right to switch off, check your culture, make sure that, that your employees don't feel beholden to answer, that usually their weekends should be free.
Just how deep a problem is this? Because we all agree with the right to, switch off because it's good for everybody. So I think everybody agrees with that. It's just how do you enforce it?
There's a recognition that if the employee is well, if they have a good balance in life, they will be able to perform at a higher level.
It all depends on the work and the profession that you're in. I'm in the police service, so I've got a good work-life balance, work 4 on, 4 off, which is fantastic.
That we should be putting ourselves first outside of work hours, but business owners don't want that. I'm always working. When I go home, I have admin to do. I live with my mom, I work with my mom. So we never really switch off.
As a business owner, I never switch off, so probably not the right person to ask. I let my staff know that I'm concerned about them. If there's any family issues, it's time off. When they finish at 5:30, it's time off. And so much so, most of them have young families. I've adopted a 4-day week so that they could have 3 days off with their families. So yes, a rested employee is a better employee.
For me, no, but my husband does work from home, he can work from home whenever he wants. So I think sometimes even when his working day is finished, he'll often find himself still sat at his desk doing work and difficult to break himself away from it because he has that.
If you work in a cross-disciplinary environment, possibly across different time zones, there's never going to be a time that suits everyone.
We're already spending, 15% of our time pushing 20% of the time on regulatory issues. Every time you push that up, you make less money. And so we don't want to push the gaming companies away to another place, but we do want to protect the workers that Wendy's just described. So it's a balance.
Do you think we need legislation on this? Spain has it, the UK is looking at it?
I think we do, to protect those workers whose rights are being abused in that sense. Although I will accept that most employers will not fall into that category.
We're full up with treaty stuff. There's an awful lot on the agenda for Gibraltar. We still haven't equalised pension ages. We still haven't improved the father's rights, for paternity leave. There's a big queue of legislation and desires. And should this jump through, I don't think there's enough evidence to say it should. Not that anyone would disagree with its sentiment.
Yes, for the legislation, if it means that organisations are going to have the dialogue and the focus on the culture that will underpin the legislation. I'd say no if it's just used as legislation and as a form of policing people.
The GSLP Liberal government has talked about work-life balance, quality of life and labour rights. We haven't heard much political discussion about the right to switch off so far, but that may change as other European countries adopt this policy to protect employee well-being.